My sleepy boy. I'm sorry it took so long to get home. I missed you so much, baby. Look how tired you are. Aren't you?
All right, we're with Oliver today for another interview, and we're gonna ask him a few questions whenever he's ready.
Okay.
All right. When is a time you believe that you were punished unfairly, whether it be too harsh or not harsh enough at Conner High School?
I don't think they punish harsh enough, honestly. I think they kind of just let some of the stuff slide or just kind of forget about it.
Okay. What's your opinion on the school's phone policy?
I think it's stupid. I think we should have our phones because, even if we are goofing around on them, what if something happens at home and we can't directly call our parents and they need to call us to let us know what happened?
So, like in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
All right. What's your insight on how we're punished at Conner High School?
Yeah, and I think we kind of just forget about it eventually, but like in the moment, sometimes it can be like the whole school will know what someone did or what happened, but pretty soon we forget and just go back to it.
All right. And for your final question, what are ways we can make our rule system better here?
I think different staff might help. I personally don't like a ton of the staff, but through personal experience.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here with Reese Taylor, and we're going to ask him a few questions today and see his opinions. So, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, first question. What is your opinion on the school's phone policy?
I think the school's phone policy is fairly just. I do think phones are an issue in school with kids being distracted. It does take away from work time. But I think it's something that teachers should be able to kind of monitor and limit in class. It's not something that needs to be fully stricken away. It's just something that can be monitored, and if you are on your phone during a time where you're supposed to be working, that's fair punishment. So I think where we're at is it's okay, but we could do a little bit better, loosening when in times when you can have them, and then kind of clamping down on times when you definitely shouldn't have them.
I think many people would agree with you. Thank you for that. All right, second question. What is your insight on how we're punished at school, whether it be phones, sports, any vaping, smoking, anything that comes up? Just what's your opinion on it?
I think our school is pretty good. I do feel like sometimes there are things that people get away with by not with like they don't get punished for what they did, but there's never really instances in our school where there's anything that is that severe. So what we do have, we don't have detention, anything like that, but there isn't really things where we need to have detention. But I just think teachers should have more ability to choose the punishment for students, or if it really is something that needs to be taken care of, the higher upper management in our school have done a fairly good job of giving pretty fair punishment.
Alrighty. And for your final question, what are ways we can make our rules system better?
I just say finding better ways of kind of understanding what the punishment should be based on what the person did. I think there are things that people do that are overpunished and things that people do that certainly are underpunished. So I think kind of taking a step back and looking at what we do and just changing and tweaking punishments just a little bit based on what was like the crime committed, I guess.
Alrighty, well, thank you for the interview. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you later. Alright. Today I'm here with Wyatt Black, and we're going to be interviewing him. Even though he's part of our group, we're going to interview him and just see what his insight is on it. Alright, when's the time you believe that you were punished unfairly, whether it be too harsh or not harsh enough at Conrad?
I've never been punished at Conrad High School. Nope. So I've never been to the principal's office or anything like that.
Well, is there any other times, like just in class, getting in trouble with a teacher?
Sometimes they're too easy.
Sometimes they're too easy?
But mainly it's a good environment and everything.
All right. What's your opinion on the school's phone policy?
I think we should carry our phones, but when the teachers say that we can obviously be on our phones. And just the fact that putting it in a locker seems pretty stupid because what if something were to happen? You know what I'm saying? So, like, we should always have our phones on us just in case if something were bad to happen.
Okay. And I'll combine the last two questions. What's your insight on how we're punished at Conrad High School, and what are ways we can make the rule system better?
What was the first part again?
What is your insight on how we're punished at the school?
Okay, yeah. So I think that the school is doing good with punishing. Sometimes, for people's actions, you know, they don't really deserve a harsh punishment, but at the same time, not an easy punishment, you know.
Yeah.
But if like somebody did something like bad, you know, well, the school got it, bro. So I think they're doing a good job and everything. Yeah. And then what was the last part?
What's a way we can make it better?
What's the ways that we can make it better? Honestly don't think we could because we already got a good everything. As of right now, we're going on a good stroll. So, you know.
Alrighty, well, thank you for your insight. Thank you for the interview.
Yeah, of course.
Have a great day. Alright, we're here with Eric Anderson today. We're going to interview him, ask him a few questions, and see what his opinions are. Alright, are you ready?
Yep.
Alright, what is a time that you believed you were punished unfairly, whether it be too harsh or not harsh enough at Conrad schools?
I feel like when I got blocked on my Chromebook, when the Epstein files was a big thing, me and like 10 other people were on the website looking through the files. I got blocked. My Chromebook was put on a extra like strength, I guess, blocking policy for about 2 weeks. I wasn't even able to access like Infinite Campus or Google Docs or open anything in Google Classroom really, and I couldn't do any of my homework. And that happened just to me when there were other people on it too. I feel like that was very unfair.
So you believe that was a pretty harsh punishment for a not as severe crime have been?
Punishment itself wasn't that harsh, honestly, but I feel like the use of the punishment was very like just like lackluster because like why was I the only person that got punished, you know? There's other people that were doing it too. A lot of other people.
Okay. Now, for your second question, what's your opinion on the school's phone policy specifically?
Like, I feel like the policy wasn't really that bad to begin with when I was first here. You were allowed to like have your phones on you, kind of. Like it mostly depended on teachers, but I feel at the beginning it was honestly pretty good because you weren't supposed to be on your phone during. I never really saw many people on their phone during class when it was like that, but you could still have your phone on you just in case of like an emergency or something. And you know, sometimes they'd let you use your phones during advisory and stuff like that. But I think now it's gotten a lot more strict out of nowhere. I feel like it was very out of left field basically for like when DeBrucker was going around and like taking people's phones out of their pockets. I feel like that was a very big step over the boundary. For one, I'm a firm believer in the fact that like if it's my property and if it's me, like I don't give you permission to touch me or touch my property, I'm not gonna give you my phone just because you're the principal. Like it's just a personal safety thing, you know. It's not anything against a record. So I feel like it was definitely a little far at that point. You know, I think we should be allowed to have our phones on us, but I do believe that you should be punished for being on your phone in class if you're on your phone.
So you have very similar outtakes as most people in our school. All right. Thirdly, what is your insight on how we're punished at school? And I'll combine the fourth question with it. What are ways we can make our rule system and our punishment system better?
I just feel like I've personally experienced a lot of punishments where either me and like one or two other people were punished, but not the whole group that did something was punished, or just something similar to that. I feel like there's a big issue in Conrad where a lot of teachers and staff members will punish you for something that like you have been doing like with 3 other people, and you're the only person that gets trouble for it. And I feel like I understand that it's hard for the teachers to catch everything. You can't always get on the first time or the second or the third. Sometimes it's the fourth time, but I do feel as though it is a fair that it happens so much in Conrad schools, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with your reputation or your last name. I think honestly, if a teacher likes you or likes your family and you do something, you're less likely to get punished. I feel like honestly, the people that usually do get punished, it seems like most of the time it's with teachers that don't usually like them, and so I feel like that's a little bit biased and unfair. And I think that it's we shouldn't be punishing people based on their last names or how people how much you like them just because they've been in trouble before or they haven't been in trouble before.
Well, thank you for your opinions. That's some very fair outlooks, and I appreciate it. It's pretty insightful. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Reagan Alberg for an interview today, and we're going to ask her a few questions on her opinions on punishments and rules at school. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
All right. First question, when is a time you believe that you're punished unfairly, whether it be too harsh or not harsh enough at Conrad High School?
I believe it was a couple years ago, got in trouble for some stuff that I had done. I believe that the punishment should have been maybe a little bit more harsher for me and the other people that it involved. Maybe just a little bit more nicer too.
Okay. And what's your opinion on the school's phone policy?
I really do not like it. I think it is really, really stupid. I believe that, you have to keep it in your locker. You shouldn't have to, because what if there's, an emergency or something and your family needs to get a hold of you, ASAP? How are they supposed to do that? With the school, yes, they can call the school, but it takes a little bit more time to get it to the student. Whereas if they have their phone, it's actually a lot easier because they get it instantly.
All right. And I'm going to combine our last two questions for you. What's your insight on how we're punished at Conrad High School, and what are ways we can make our rule system better?
I feel like the punishment needs to be a little bit more harsher for some kids. If you aren't showing up to school on time, you shouldn't be able to do some of the stuff that they are able to do. And then, with the grades, if you have an F or if you're failing, how you used to have to go in at lunch and sit in the gym and work on your classes. I feel like they could make that a little bit, they could bring that back as one of the rules. But doing it during advisory instead of lunch, because lunch is more of your free time to get away from school.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, thank you for your insight.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.